A child, no older than 6, crouches in the shadows of a wolf den. His eyes glow in the moonlight, wild and untamed. He does not cry, he does not speak, he growls. Outside, the jungle whispers, a rustle of leaves, the distant roar of a tiger, and within the darkness, a pack of wolves stand guard, not as captors, but as protectors. This is not a fairy tale. This is not a Disney movie. This is rather very real. And it happened before the Jungle Book was ever written. You see, when we talk about the Jungle Book, we usually think of Mowgli, the boy raised by wolves, taught the law of the jungle by Balu the bear and Bagheera the black panther, while escaping the clutches of the tiger Sher Khan. But what if I told you something eerily similar had happened earlier? What if I told you that decades before Rudyard Kipling ever put pen to paper, a real-life Mowgli was discovered in the forests of India? A boy not raised by humans, a boy who did not know what it meant to be human, a boy who belonged to the jungle. His name was Dina Sanichar. And here's where things get really strange. Did Kipling somewhere hear about him? Did this real-life feral child unknowingly shaped one of the greatest adventure stories of all time? Or was this a tale written by history itself, one that found its way into fiction as if the past was whispering to the future? Let's go back. Let's go deep into the jungle. Let's uncover the truth together. The year was 1867. A group of hunters making their way through the dense forests of Uttar Pradesh, India, stumbled upon something shocking, a wolf den. That in itself was not unusual. But what lay inside? Not just wolves. A boy. He was around 6 years old. Filthy, thin, moving on all fours. His fingers were curled from crawling, his nails sharp like claws. And his eyes weren't frightened. They were feral. The wolves surrounded him. They weren't attacking him. They were protecting him. The hunters, believing they had just witnessed something impossible, did what men with guns often do when they feel threatened. They fired. The wolves scattered, and the boy, he did not run to the humans. He tried to escape with the wolves. He belonged with them. But the hunters captured him, hauled him away. And for the first time in his life, Dina Sanichar left the jungle. He was taken to an orphanage in Agra run by missionaries who had never seen anything like him before. He refused to speak, not because he wouldn't, but because he couldn't. Language was alien to him. He communicated in growls and whimpers. He refused to walk on 2 feet, not because he was incapable, but because his body had adapted to moving on all fours. The missionaries tried to civilize him. They tried to make him one of them. But how do you undo years of living as something else? For years, they tried. But Dina never became normal. He learned a few things from the other children, how to wear clothes, how to drink from a cup, and oddly enough, how to smoke. But he never spoke a single word, never told his own story, and in his mid-30s he died of tuberculosis, a disease of civilization, not the jungle. Here's where the mystery deepens. Dina Sanichar's story was well documented. British officers, missionaries, and doctors all wrote about this wolf boy of India. His case was one of the first recorded examples of feral children, humans raised by animals instead of other humans. And Rudyard Kipling? Well, he was born in 1865, just 2 years before Dina was discovered. He grew up in India. He was deeply fascinated by the stories of the land. Could he have heard of Dina? Could the whispers of the real-life Mowgli have traveled into his ears, shaping his imagination years before the Jungle Book was published in 1894? Or is it just another case of history repeating itself? The Jungle Book became a global phenomenon. What makes the Jungle Book so timeless? Maybe because it asks a question we all feel at some point. Where do I belong? Mowgli was neither fully human nor fully animal. He was caught between two worlds, never quite fitting into either. And Dina? He too was caught between two worlds. But unlike Mowgli, his story didn't have a happy ending. The jungle was his home. Civilization was his prison. Maybe that's why the Jungle Book still resonates today. Because deep down, we all feel like outsiders somewhere, searching for a place where we truly belong. So, now I have a question for you. What do you think? Did Kipling know about him? Was Dina Sanichar the real-life Mowgli? And here's a wild one for you. If you were raised by animals, which ones would you want as your jungle family? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you love unraveling the hidden mysteries behind famous stories, hit the subscribe button. Until next time, stay wild, stay curious, and remember, some stories are stranger than fiction.